On episode 3 of the Raptors Real Talk podcast, we get into potentially the return of LeBronto. And, well, if Kawhi Leonard isn't joining the Raptors, maybe a different franchise legend makes his return. Welcome into the Raptors Real Talk podcast. Chris Lambert alongside Svyatoslav Rovenchuk, episode 3. My goodness, still nothing on the Kawhi Leonard situation, but we're here. We're still kicking. And yeah, Svi, let's just get into it. So there's a lot of conflicting things still going out there about Kawhi. One person was reporting that a deal or the findings have been finalized and now the league was coming to a decision. And then Baxter Holmes today reported that the NBA's investigation could drag this thing into 2027, which would be utterly ridiculous. A little PSA too. We are recording this before Pablo Torre goes live at 8 p.m. where he said he was going to share more findings and what the holdup could be and all these things. I don't care. I don't honestly care anymore. Like, I'm sick of this. Let's just put the trade through and that's at least how I feel. Put the trade through. Toronto is clearly comfortable with accepting this, or else they would have tried to back out a long time ago. Let it go through and figure it out later. I don't know how you feel though.
I think the one thing that would give me a hold up on that is, well, yeah, to your point, Mike Vorkunov was the one that said, hey, like the findings are all in and all they're really waiting for is just a resolution and, a final decision. And Baxter Holmes was the one that chimed in that you said this could drag to 2027 if the parties don't agree on the findings or any proposed settlement. So, it could be in it for the long haul here. And as far as like sending the actual trade through here, I think the problem with that just comes with the assets that Toronto is giving up, right? If uh, I don't know, let's talk about like some of the like more unpleasant scenarios. What if Kawhi suspended for like half a season? Let's call it 41 games. If you're
Yeah.
Toronto and you just gave up, the multiple picks, you got a pick swap, like obviously an all-star forward in Brandon Ingram, not that I think his stock is too high,
Yeah.
but if you're
Yeah.
giving up all that and you're getting Kawhi back, and you're only going to get Kawhi for like half a season because of the suspension. Yeah, I think at that point, I I understand why Toronto is kind of sitting back a little bit, just letting this play out because, hey, I wouldn't want to send all the picks that you're sending out if you know you're only going to get like 41 games of Kawhi Leonard. Let's say 50 games of Kawhi Leonard. And honestly, that's generous. Like
I,
that's only factoring in the suspension and not even factoring in any potential injuries. So to that point, I think if I'm Toronto, I wouldn't I understand what you're saying where they're clearly comfortable with this to enough of a degree to just sit back and wait and still be cool with the deal going through. But I do believe there's a shot here that to some capacity this gets reworked if you're the Raptors and
yeah.
the punishment is not favorable to you.
I'm wondering, like, I would love some clarity, and maybe I've missed it in like the articles I've read or skimmed through, but do we know, like, can they rework this? Like, because because it was only presented to the league office and it wasn't finalized by the league office, are they allowed to like take it back? Bobby and Lawrence Frank sit down over the phone and rework things. Like, do we know that as a fact?
I mean, I have read a few pieces and listened to a couple of other podcasts discussing the fact that this trade might need to get reworked. So I don't believe there's anything based on
Fair.
how this has gone on so far that would limit them from changing what this trade looks like. If I'm wrong, I'm sure somebody's going to correct me about it in the comment section. But yeah, I think the Raptors are well within their right to rework this deal if it needs to be reworked because this transaction hasn't been finalized. If it was finalized, obviously we'd be having very different conversations.
Yeah, I mean, you just mentioned the comment section though. I just want a little note here. Comment, guys. Let's get the engagement up. We are gonna need ideas of things to talk about if we want this to be a fun Raptor show week in and week out because I think we're at a point where we can both accept this deal is probably not getting put through until at least the end of August. So, hey, let's throw us some ideas. Throw us some things you want to hear us talk about in the comments. But yeah, Svi, I get it. Like I've literally wrote in my notebook here, like I don't want to spend more than 5 minutes on this topic. So let's just jump into like general things if the deal gets put through. A fun little question I had for you is how many games do you think the Raptors could realistically, like, or sorry, how many games of Kawhi Leonard do the Raptors need to have a successful season, or at least regular season, and be like a top 5 seed?
If you're talking top five seed, I think that's pretty generous.
Right.
The Eastern
With the
Conference
way
is
the East
obviously
is, yeah.
as competitive as it's been, honestly, in a
Dude,
very, very long time.
honestly, let's keep it a buck, bro. We don't have to respect the 90s or the 80s. I love the I love watching the tape from back then and going back and watching the highlights. The NBA, the Eastern Conference has never looked like this ever. Like ever. I mean,
I think there are
it's
9 to 10 very good teams in this conference, and that's
I would say,
crazy.
yeah. I would
Yeah.
say there's 12 teams I could see a path to being in the playoffs if everything went right. Like,
Yeah. And to your point, or like to your original question, among that type of conference, I think the Raptors really can't even 25 is the number that I'm sitting on in terms of how many games suspended do I think the Raptors can take. But even 25 feels like a big number to me in this conference. I would say closer like 10 to 15 is ideally if Kawhi is going to get suspended. If you're the Raptors, you don't want to see him gone for more than that period because you still have a lot to figure out in terms of the pecking order, in terms of getting him in those offensive sets, in terms of getting everybody meshed in around him. 10 to 15, I think, is the amount of games they can afford to have him miss specifically for any suspension related reasons. That's just my 2 cents on it.
yeah. No, I think the pecking order thing is huge. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I got sources. But I was talking to some people that have some connections, and they were saying like they have been told Kawhi is working with players from the Raptors. I mean, that's not the same as him being at camp in Quebec, and working with the team and under Darko. But I've been told like he's in the lab with the Raptors, a lot of Raptors right now, and just getting situated, which gives me a little bit of like a bit of a positive hope. And I also think that's probably something that's not even overly being hidden from the NBA when you see the way Grady Dick is out in LA just living his life and Ingram's kind of just kicking it. Like I think the NBA wants this deal to be put through as well because it would be just so good for the Eastern Conference. They just got to figure this stuff out. And it also doesn't like Pablo Torre, stop being so good at your damn job, man. Like, could you just not like for everyone in Toronto, we are the only Canadian basketball franchise. Like, could you just not? I don't know. I get it. It's his job, and he's incredible at it. But what do you think about this? Because when let's say Kawhi does get suspended, let's call it 15. You said 25, you said 10. Let's call it kind of in the middle, 15, 17, in that range of games suspended. Do what do we think Kawhi's behavior is like? Because a lot of people are like, well, you can't bank on it. I don't think he gets to play around this time, and I don't think he's gonna want to. I think he's gonna have to be proving a lot to just the NBA and to the Raptors, or not just the Raptors, but to the NBA. I don't think he's gonna be allowed to just sit out games because he doesn't feel like playing like he was the first time around. Like I think he's gonna have to play. If he gets suspended for the first 15 of the season, he's gonna have to play those remaining 67 games, like, or at least 60 of those 67 games. Like, I don't think he's going to get the luxury of just sitting out games anymore.
Yeah, I think you still, when you get to the parts of the schedule where you have those like 3 games and 4 night
For sure. For
situations,
sure.
those are still the moments where you want to rest Kawhi because otherwise you're needlessly risking his body. And we know his body, was a little more durable recently in recent years, but we know the history there. It's such a tired point with Kawhi, but that doesn't make it any less true. You're still gonna give him nights like those off, but I agree to your point that there's gonna be a level of load management, but if you're if you're taking a 15 game vacation at the start of the year, you can only get so many of those games with the remainder of the schedule.
Let's move on to something. Some may call it depressing, some may call it incredible, but LeBron James is back in the Eastern Conference. I mean, let's just start there. How do you feel about having LeBron back in the Eastern Conference? Not even from a Raptors point of view, but like, does it just feel right that for me, it feels like he's back where he belongs.
Yeah, from a Raptors POV, it's like war flashbacks.
It's that meme of that soldier where it's like he's like distinctly just like sad and he's having the PTSD and all the planes are flying above him. You know what I'm talking about?
100%.
Yeah.
From an overall standpoint, yeah, I mean, obviously he spent a good degree of time with the LA Lakers, 8 seasons, his longest individual stint with a team consecutively. But at the end of the day, like LeBron's just a little more synonymous with the Eastern Conference to your point. So yeah, there's just a feeling of, you know, all like the basketball questions aside, there is just a feeling of, yeah, that looks a little more right, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, let's go over to what doesn't look right to me, which is him in a Philadelphia 76ers uniform. What was your reaction? Because I was an hour away from my campsite, and the fan-sided group chat is exploding. Like my phone was just vibrating and I'm like, what the hell could be happening? And I pick it up and it's LeBron in his Sixers uniform, and I was just like, one, you got to be effing kidding me because I'm logging off for the weekend. And two, like it just looks weird.
Yeah. I remember I thought I was gonna have a nice and quiet Friday, just get some stuff ready for the weekend, and yeah, to your point, kind of get ready to like mentally get a bit of a reset. And then I think it was around like 11:30-ish,
Yep.
get that notification come through, get that like ping in the Slack channel talking about battle stations was
Yeah,
the
battles.
exact
Yeah,
quote.
yeah.
And I read that message and I was like, man, that can only mean one thing. And then
Yeah.
yeah. LeBron James picks his next team, picks the 76ers. It when I saw the team, I think there's obviously some initial surprise because for the most part in this like LeBron race, I think the Sixers were, I'd say fourth. Most people probably would have
Yeah.
had them pegged around fourth. But
Around Minnesota, right? Like, would you say they were 4-5 kind of thing?
yeah, I believe that those were the final five candidates, plus
Mhm.
obviously Cleveland, Miami, and
And Golden
Golden
State.
State.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd say four was about there, where I would have had Philly. But when you look at fits one through three, I understand why we ended up at number four because there were there were cool elements about, a Cleveland return or a Miami team up or a Steph Curry team up in Golden State, but all of those fits were flawed in one way or another. And then by the time that you get down that list and you get to Philadelphia, and hey, Philadelphia has its flaws too, and we're gonna get into them, don't get me wrong. But you look at Cleveland. Okay, I think LeBron just slotting in at the small forward spot amongst like what Cleveland currently has with the two guards and Harden and Mitchell and then Mobley and Allen. That's not a great fit, especially on the defensive end if you're talking about those three perimeter defenders. And then you keep going down that list. Miami, the spacing is going to be a massive concern
Oh, it would have been
because
horrific.
you're looking at Andrew Wiggins and you're like, hey buddy, are you ready to put up 10 3-pointers a game?
Nope.
Uh, and then, yeah, you keep going down that list. Golden State, I think, was out of those three teams the furthest away from a championship team. I don't think LeBron was going to change that. Like the idea of Curry and LeBron and Draymond was always fun to some degree, but I don't see a contender having come together. And LeBron said it in the tweets himself. Playing for a championship was something that mattered to him. And I think when you look at those three fits, none of those teams, maybe you make the case for Miami, maybe you make the case for Miami. You could talk me into that. But I think none of those other like teams really sold me on the idea of being a contender. And then you get to Philly. It's a big market. It's a rabid fan base. They just traded for Jaylen Brown. You got that stacked team, and they have that nice little power forward spot sitting
Just
there,
waiting there.
waiting to be filled. And if you're LeBron James and you got denied of the opportunity to, bring the Knicks their long-awaited championship, what's the next best idea? To bring Sixers fans their long-awaited championship and end that championship drought. So it was a little shocking at first, but the more you kind of think about it, the more I get why we got to where we got.
No, I agree. I love it. Like I love the fit, and I also just love the Sixers off season. Like
Love
they
seeing Jaylen
bring in.
Brown in a Sixers uni.
Yeah, honestly, I'm happy for him because you have Dean Wade off the bench, Anthony Simons off the bench, KCP, a Bona. That's a solid four-man unit when you're talking about having a starting five that's healthy, features Embiid, Maxey, Edgecombe, Brown, and Braun.
Didn't
And
even get to Phylon.
I don't know how quick his impact is. That's my guy. I worry about the weight immediately in the NBA, and I think that's kind of why they brought in Anthony Simons. I think he's going to be able to man that second unit as just the scoring guard that Phylon can be. But I want to talk kind of just quickly here about VJ Edgecombe because I think he's, in my opinion, I mean, other than Embiid's health, he's the biggest X factor because he's been a guy where his whole rookie year, he thrived off the ball. He was incredible. He was making clutch shots. He was in the catch and shoot. He was just very good. He was even a good screener at times. That's the guy where like he's gonna have to fully buy into like, hey, I might stump my development for a few years. And I think VJ Edgecombe can be like this next generation of NBA players, Jimmy Butler, that hardworking guy who's just head down, has all the tools, great defensively, and just a really just gritty, hard-nosed guy. He's gonna have to buy into being their just dirty work player. Whether it's, I know he's 6'5", but whether it's rebounding, it's getting stops from the point of attack, he's gonna have to really buy into just being that. I don't doubt he will because he's got a great mentality. But my question for you is like, what is your pecking order? Because the way I see things, I actually like this team better if they didn't have Joel Embiid at the 5 and they had maybe a less demanding of the ball type of big man. And maybe Embiid buys into that role. But I really like the idea of letting Jaylen Brown and Tyrese Maxey be your 1A, 1B, having Braun be that complimentary third or fourth option that's going to just play make his butt off, set guys up, and grab boards and shoot threes. And then having Edgecombe be a dirty work guy who, if you need him to go for 30, he can. He can hit 5 threes. I get really concerned though with this team that actually, sorry, I'll let you answer that. I won't get into that. But like, where do you see the pecking order with this group?
Yeah, I think to a large capacity with some added nuance, I think you pretty much nailed it. I think one big thing for me, I would need to see Jaylen Brown just not dribbling the air out of basketball. That's
Yes.
priority number one for
Yes.
making this thing work in Philadelphia,
Yeah.
especially more often than not. I think your plays got to start with Maxi,
Yes.
maybe
Yes.
LeBron. Like LeBron's going to be, for all intents and purposes, third option, fourth option, whatever you label it. I am comfortable in believing that LeBron is going to happily take a back seat as a scorer. He's going to pick his spots. He's going to maybe shoot, I don't know, 8 shots a game,
Yeah.
something like that. I don't think he's there to take that scoring load. I think he's
No.
going to sit back. He's going to do his best Magic Johnson impression, just set these guys up. When it comes to the scoring loads, yeah, like I think Maxi and JB, like you said, are your 1A, 1B in whatever order you want to put it in terms of usage. To some capacity, I think both those guys have to buy in on, getting open off the ball and not
Well, I think Maxi will be able to
playing
do that, no
ISO.
problem. Jaylen Brown,
Yeah.
it's a complete concern. I mean, that was always the issue with him and Tatum. Like, this guy just can't create like you said, the dribbling the air to the ball, and that's why he was so good this last year because there wasn't really many creators on that team. So he could dribble the ball for 20 of the 24 and get a shot off, and it'd be like a good shot for Jaylen Brown, probably go in. But that's not going to be effective with this team.
No, not at all. It's almost a little ironic, I guess. He wanted to get away from Jason Tatum to have his own team. And you can make the argument, Jalen Brown's the best player on this team. You can make that
Yep.
argument.
Yep.
But I think with the way that the team is set up, he's not going to get to play that same type of brand of basketball that he played early in the season last year with the Celtics. And it's going to have to be a readjustment where you understand, hey, I got so many talented players around me. I can't just be the guy that says, "Hey, give me the ball and, go park yourself in the corner." Nah, man, you got LeBron who's going to find you if you're going to get open off the ball. So, with JB, it's just I remember seeing a quote something about Jaylen Brown. I can't remember who sourced it, but some reporter was talking about like Jaylen Brown is going into next season with no ego. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I certainly hope
Yeah,
so.
he wants to just win and he wants to play off the ball and he's buying into. Yeah, I saw that today actually or yesterday. Yeah. It was an
Yeah.
ESPN guy who said it. I don't think it was Windy, but someone did say that. Yes.
Yeah. I hope that's true because yeah,
I doubt
despite the
it.
fact that he's going to be at the top of the offensive pecking order, he's still the ways in which he's going to score are going to have to be different. Ideally, I think you just have Braun setting the table for most of these guys, and it's going to require sacrifice from everybody around him, and especially Jaylen Brown.
And that's my beef with this whole thing. I don't think Nick Nurse is going to be able to figure this out. Hey, I am the first guy to say congratulations to Nick Nurse, first year head coach, won an NBA championship. He's not an elite coach in the NBA. He's just not. He is all about I'm going to give my guards since leaving Toronto, or since Kawhi left that 1 year, it was, I'm going to give my guards the green light. We saw it with Freddie's All-Star year. We saw it last year with, or over the last couple of years with Maxey. But like we've seen it. He just give, and he said it on after the draft. When he called final, he said, "Man, we're giving you the ultimate green light. We want you to just shoot that thing." Like that doesn't work with this many guys. And I just don't see it. I've always seen Nick Nurse is like a player's coach to the max. He's always going to back his guys. He's always going to argue with the refs. He's always going to challenge. And you need that. But you also need a guy who can break down the game and really just be like, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to manage egos. And I don't think he's that guy. And even going back to the 2019 championship, I can't overly remember a moment that I was like, damn, Nick Nurse really did this thing. Other than Kawhi going, you know what? I'm going to guard Giannis. Marcus, I'll take a step back. You can take Brook Lopez. I'm going to guard Giannis, which wasn't Nick Nurse's call and had them down 0-2 in that conference final. So I just don't see it with him to be the guy to lead this group. And I could see him instantly becoming the scapegoat 20 games in the season if this thing isn't working.
I think with Nurse, as long as you're able to, ideally, I think you want him focusing on the defensive side of the basketball, especially because, quite frankly, you're going to have the majority of your problems there, given your personnel. And I think Nurse is a decent defensive tactician. I think he's a good defensive tactician. I'm being a little mean. I truly think that's where the pedigree and the leadership when it comes to the offense of LeBron is going to come in. And you got to think, obviously, LeBron's got the relationship with Maxey. Joel Embiid was celebrating like he won the lottery when he found out about LeBron. So is VJ Edgecombe recreating that
Yeah, that
smiling,
was
can't
great.
believe this is my life.
Yeah.
I think these guys are ready to embrace LeBron if in
Yes.
Philadelphia's cases. And I would hope that means they're ready to buy into how LeBron says, I mean, look, the guy's going into his 24th season, and for all intents and purposes, he's a coach in his own right.
Yeah.
If LeBron tells you, "Hey, this is how we're going to find the most success," I I would imagine there is a level of buy-in that these guys
Everyone will except Jaylen
are
Brown.
willing to take. Yeah.
Everyone will but Jaylen Brown. And that's going to be like, there's just too much ego. Like, there's just, and this brings me to my next point, which is like, with a guy like Joel Embiid, who I'm just gonna say probably won't play more than 40 games next year. I mean, he's not going to the offseason overly hurt, so he's probably rehabbing things that he hasn't rehabbed in forever, and he's gonna be like, okay, I don't have to carry this garbage team to the playoffs anymore. I have a bunch of guys who can really do things. But if Joel Embiid isn't consistently in this lineup and they're rolling out a Dembona and Ariel Hukpori, I don't think they're going to lose games, but when you get to the playoffs, I just saw with this Celtics team this season that, hey, Tatum coming back in the last 20 games of the season was cool and all, but it completely threw off the chemistry. And when it came to the playoffs, where everyone was supposed to have a designated role, no one knew what the hell was going on, including their coach, Joe Mazzulla. And I see this Sixers team, I don't think, I'm going to be honest with you, man. Like, I don't have faith that this Sixers team makes it out of round 2 of the playoffs. I just don't. I just think there's too much going on. I love a lot of the moves. If this was like they were in year 2 of this and LeBron wasn't going to be, what will he be in the second year of this if it happens? Like 43, 44. If he was younger in that second year, I could see this team being like the Knicks. They struggle the first year to really get things popping, but year 2, they figure it out and they win a championship. I could see that. Year 1, I just cannot see it with this team. There's too much going on for me.
Well, LeBron did sign a 2-year contract, so maybe he
Yep.
intends to play both those 2 years out.
Yep.
Hey, I know you flamed Rich Paul last week in his podcast, but Rich Paul did say on his podcast that, LeBron's performance against the Rockets gave LeBron, in his opinion, gave LeBron new life and kind of extended that career. So maybe they get the 2 years out of LeBron. Maybe they do see this as a 2-year, well, obviously they see this as a 2-year window, but maybe they see this as a 2-year project where that second year is
I
really
hope so.
where they hit the ground running. Because there is going to be a lot to figure out in that first year. Again, it's so depends on the players. I not as concerned with Joel Embiid. I think you need him there for the playoffs. I think you're not winning an NBA championship without 16 wins involving Joel Embiid.
Mhm.
I think load managing will help him with the caveat of if he's coming in, I would hope Embiid is ready to be like the fourth option in terms of
Yeah.
how
So
many
what is
touches
his
he
role?
gets.
Like
Yeah.
what?
I think ideally, in terms of touches, he's the fourth option. In terms of like shots, the third most shots amongst the team. I think that's where ideally you kind of have him slotting. And if you can get that like pinned down for let's call it 41 games that Embiid plays next year, and he's fully healthy for the playoffs, I think you feel pretty good about that if you're Philadelphia.
Okay, well, let's talk LeBronto because with this move, and this is exciting for Raptors fans, they'll get to see LeBron in Toronto twice next year, which hasn't been something we've been able to say in a very, very long time. And they'll be playing the Raptors 4 times next year. So, what was your worst favorite LeBronto memory? For me, Game 3, 2018, Eastern Conference semifinals, the running floater to the corner over OG Anunoby, jumping up on the thing, pounding his chest. That whole, like, that year, the 2018 LeBron, in my opinion, it, at least from in the playoffs, it passes any version of the Heat LeBron, any version of the Laker LeBron, any version of previous Cavalier LeBron. That was the greatest player I've ever seen walk the face of the earth. Like, he couldn't do anything wrong, and that team around him was effing garbage. Like,
Yeah.
actually trash. Like, what? I think his second leading scorer in the playoffs was like year 3 Jordan Clarkson.
I think it might have still been Kevin Love, in that
Oh, okay,
2018 ref.
maybe.
But yeah, man, like as soon as you asked that question, my mind immediately went to that, and then you kind of ran with that one. So I would completely agree. In general, from that year, and even the year before, like even the year where Kyrie was still there,
Mhm.
there's just so many bad memories of just LeBron looking like he's taking practice shots. Like, I forget which year it's from, but there's that one clip where he spins the ball in front of Serge Ibaka before he puts up the shot. And I'm like, man,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is embarrassing. Please
yeah.
stop it.
He
Have
would just
some
like walk
mercy.
it down to dribble and just huck it from like the hash mark, and it was just
Yeah.
cash. Like,
Guys going all over the court, hitting turnaround fades for the love of the game. Siakam don't matter. OG don't matter. Famous LeBron stopper Damari Carroll don't matter. He
yeah,
was doing whatever he wanted out there, and it was just kind of one of those moments where hey, you've heard multiple Raptors players talk about it. DeMar DeRozan has said it's just like, yeah, well, like, what did you expect us to do? Norman Powell has said, well, yeah, like LeBron was just the difference. We couldn't do anything. Like multiple guys from different iterations of that Raptors team have all said the same thing. LeBron was an absolute nightmare to deal with. So hopefully, maybe having Kawhi, assuming the deal eventually gets completed, maybe that is the difference. And I would sure as hell hope so because I am not signing up to watch LeBron take practice shots against the Raptors again.
yeah. I mean, you mentioned DeMar DeRozan. We can pivot over to that. The guy who got sent home by LeBron, and then LeBron leaves, and he still claims they would have won a championship without LeBron in the Eastern Conference, which I find very hard to believe because they called him DeMar DeFrozen for a reason when it came to the playoffs. However, DeMar is a free agent. The Raptors could use a spark off the bench. Where do you stand with a potential number 10 reunion in Raptors red?
Hey man, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I have a lot of love in my heart for what DeMar DeRozan meant to this franchise, what DeMar DeRozan did for this franchise, and his role in Raptors history. I don't want the 2026 version of DeMar on this team. Man, like one of the Raptors' biggest issues is shooting. Like, obviously, you're bringing in DeMar, you're only making a bad thing worse. Yeah, is it a bit of a tired conversation to say, oh yeah, well, DeMar's not a good shooter and that's gonna hurt a team? But DeMar is not a good shooter, and that's going to hurt the team, especially this version of the Raptors that already needs more floor spacing and needs guys that can spread the floor for their main stars like Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett that want to do damage on the inside. I just don't see the fit with DeMar, especially if you want him to be in your rotation. I just don't think Toronto is the place to give him that rotational role. I'd rather create minutes for one of these younger guys that can shoot the ball at least at a passable level and not what DeMar's got in the tank. Like he's not a good defender, he's not a good shooter. I just don't see the value in that addition.
Yeah, I agree. It's just it's the whole he just can't shoot thing. And I honestly think that's soaking up his market. I was looking around the league at teams, not even just like teams that are in a playoff position or I project to be in a playoff position. There's not a fit for him in the Eastern Conference. Like the only one I was like, oh, maybe Indiana, but I'm like, I don't know about that.
Miami?
Like yeah, but again, non-shooter. Like it doesn't. Like I could see Miami signing him 100%. I just don't see a fit there. The only team I really came up with that I was like, oh, I feel good about this one is like Golden State. The Lakers and Clippers is like maybes as a bench guy, especially for the Lakers. I think that could add a little bit of value as just another ball handler scorer. But man, he's in a tough spot as like a 37-year-old who is a primary like he's definitely improved as a 3-point shooter, but he's never gonna be a guy you're like, yeah, I feel comfortable with him taking that shot.
Yeah, I remember, I believe this was when he was still with the Spurs, that he had a quote, I think it was on JJ Redick's podcast at the time, where I think about this quote all the time, where he's like, stop saying I can't shoot threes just because I don't take threes. And then he has proceeded to do nothing from that moment that would dissuade anybody's opinion that he just
Exactly.
can't space the floor. I don't know if it's a mental block. I don't know if like that's the hurdle because he's great mid-range shooters can
Elite.
typically extend their games and become at least viable three-point shooters. So I've never understood why DeMarc never was capable of making that adjustment. I just I don't understand, and I think because he never truly made that adjustment, and again, he's a good scorer, he's a good playmaker, but the game has passed him by, and he never really fully evolved with it to the point that I just, in 2026, with all love and respect to DeMar, somebody whose jersey I have in the closet in the other room, I just don't think he's a winning basketball player, and I think
Agreed.
Toronto wants to be a winning team, and you don't get enough with adding him to your rotation.
Yeah, I fully agree. That's I mean, there's not like much else to say. It should people who watch the game, and I actually like first half of the season. I watched a fair amount of Kings games. Just like they were always on late at night. It was an easy late night watch. They would kind of keep games close at times, and like it's just yeah, it's tough. He's gonna finish a top 20 scorer of all time. He's gonna have a cool legacy in Toronto. But he, like you said, he's not a winning player. A guy who is a winning player, Steph Curry. Oh, wait, actually, before we move on to full non Raptors chatter, I feel like there's something you should be doing, right? Like we have like a weekly segment or I don't know. Maybe I'm forgetting.
Yeah, it's a little random sometimes, so I understand why you would forget about it. But hey, here is the random Raptor of the week,
Oh
and
man.
right now, hey, me and you both want to know. You came at it. You got Javon or Javon Freeman Liberty.
Yeah,
Man, that's how
yeah.
random we talking about here.
Oh
I
my
forgot.
God.
I almost spaced out his first name for a second. I was like,
You
oh my
almost called him
God.
Javante Green.
And then you hit me with Sean Marion. I managed to pack that up. So we're both 1-0. I got a fun one for you. Just as a quick reminder of how we're doing this, you get two free tidbits of information. Then you get three clues from there, three guesses. If you can't get in those three guesses, you're stumped. All right. Here are your two free pieces of information. Number one, he was on the 2013-2014 version of the Toronto Raptors. Number two, he's a guard. I love hitting you with the guards.
Man, I was like 8. Okay. Okay. Okay, I have a guy in mind, but I'm not gonna throw out the guess immediately. Could I get a hint?
Sure. What's a good hint to give you that won't necessarily give it away? Here is your hint. He played for two teams that year, including the Raptors. He also spent time with the Chicago Bulls.
Like in his career, so he spent his career with 3 teams.
Oh, I'm going to give you an extra hint here. We're going to count this as the next one.
Okay.
So in 2013-14, he spent time with two teams, the Raptors and the Chicago Bulls. Over the duration of his career, he is a very well-traveled player. He has, let me do the numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He has played for 11 teams in his career.
That's evil. You're actually an evil human being for this.
Hey, he stuck around in the league for a while, so
Yeah, he's a
it's not like he's
guard.
nobody.
Like 2013 Raps. Okay. Hmm. So what? I have two hints left.
I'd say you have one hint left because I gave you those two separately. I
Okay.
I gave you that he played for two teams in that 2013-14 campaign, and that overall during his career he has played for 11 teams.
Hmm. The immediate guy comes to mind, but I just know he didn't play for the Raptors. Is Ish Smith. But
Not Ish
obviously it's
Smith.
no. I would. That wasn't an actual guess. I was just like,
All right, all right, all right, all right.
okay, I'm gonna just throw out my first guess, Corey Joseph,
It is not Corey
because
Joseph.
he didn't play for the Bulls, obviously, and in 2013-14, I think he was still with the Spurs.
I think you're right.
Um, because I think they win the chip that year, or was that a LeBron year?
2014, yeah, that would have been the Spurs.
Yeah, so that would have been his. Yeah, okay. Um, okay. Guards, Raptors. Think. I don't think this guy played for the Bulls either. I can't guess that. Because I was gonna say Mo Pete, but I know Mo Pete didn't play for the Bulls. Like I fully just can't. I can't accept that he would have wore a Bulls uniform.
There's also
I
no shot Morris Peterson was still in the league in 2013-14, unless I'm tripping. No, he was not.
yeah,
He
that
was out of
yeah,
the league.
true,
He was out of the league.
true, true. Um,
Are you taking
hmm.
that final hint?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Okay. I'll give you an option of final hints.
Okay,
Do you,
perfect.
do you want the two teams that he spent the most years with in the NBA, or do you want his height? Because I think both of them can be pretty good to helping you solve this.
Give me the first one. The two teams he spent most of his career with.
Okay. So I'll even throw in some extra info for you here just to make it a little bit easier for you. He has 14 years in the NBA.
Wow.
In his 14 years, the two teams that he has spent the most time with, both listed at 4 years on Basketball Reference, the Orlando Magic and the Charlotte Hornets, or Bobcats.
DJ Augustine.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
you got
Come
it.
on.
You got it.
I forgot he was a Raptor, man. Oh my God.
Man,
I
I'm
would have
not.
oh yeah. You're
I was
good at the
pretty.
hints. Because a giveaway hit would have been like he hit a game winner against the Raptors in 2019, and I would have instantly thought of him. Or Jeremy Lamb, honestly. But
That is the main memory I have of DJ. I mean, just in general, I guess related to the Raptors of DJ Augustine that I have is him hitting like that game winner that you're talking about
mhm.
against the Raptors. In all fairness, man, I really hit you a bit of a brutal one here. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, that's
He
bad, man. That's
10
bad.
games. He played 10 games for the Raptors
Okay,
during
yeah,
that
I
season.
have zero. Yeah, no,
He
no,
touched the floor at least for 10 games.
my God,
8.2 minutes per game.
my God, my
But you got
God.
it. You got
Yeah.
it.
Okay, wow. So I'm two for. I'm gonna have to come with the heat next week. None of this Sean Marion crap. None of these former All Stars where we're guessing if Steve Nash was his teammate. It's just a giveaway. I'm coming with the heat, Speed. And I'm gonna come with the forward heat if you're gonna keep coming with the guards, man. All right, let's
Hey,
talk
man.
about an all-time great guard though. How about that? How about that?
Hey, again, DJ Augustine had a 14-year career.
Yeah.
That's an all-time great.
Yeah,
Nah.
hey, another short king, Stephen Curry. I mean, there's so much chatter. I'm not buying any of it that he isn't going to be happy and he isn't going to be this and the Warriors stink. I think the Warriors could literally sign me and you as like their big marquee free agent signings, and Steph would be like, I'm pissed, but I'm not abandoning this organization because I know how much it means to win championships with the team and stay there forever. I know what that can do for my legacy, and I know people can never tell me I quit on my team, and there'll never be weirdness with Golden State. So, what do you think about just Steph Curry potentially being upset or leaving the Warriors?
I just don't see it. I just think his legacy is so set in stone. He doesn't need that fifth championship to really like, what's that fifth championship going to do for him? Like, sure, maybe for some people that'll give him the definitive claim to the greatest point guard of all time over Magic Johnson if he wins ring number five. Maybe you make that case, but I think a lot of people already consider Steph the greatest point guard to ever play the game, especially with how revolutionary he was. So does that fifth ring really outweigh the comfort of the place where he spent his entire career? Naturally, the Warriors have taken care of him throughout most of his career. He's also had some of the best supporting casts of all time, so this is almost penance for being on the other end of it now. I look, I don't know Steph Curry on a personal level like that, but to me, I think there's some level of acceptance with that situation. I just don't see this guy as being someone who forces his way out of Golden State. At best, he's gonna sit there. Maybe he puts some added pressure on them, with his contract extension coming up. But overall, I just don't see Steph Curry in any other jersey other than Warriors jersey. Just feels so wrong to me.
Do you feel like they're failing him? Like, do you feel like they're letting him down, or is it like is it a tough situation? I view it. I mean, I think as a front office, you would be like full on losing your mind because it's like, are we like, are we willing to throw away everything to try to give Steph a chance at the championship? We're talking about trading a guy like Pods, who looks like he's going to have a 10, 15-year NBA career with just how hard he plays, his Iron Man mentality, his ability to do a bit of everything and shoot the three ball at a high level. We're talking about trading guys like Moses Moody, who before the injury was having a solid season last year, trading all your draft picks. Like, do you feel like they're failing him by not doing those things?
Well, first of all, that is like the nicest way I've ever heard anybody talk about pods.
Oh,
So,
I'm the biggest Pods fan on planet Earth. Like, I promise you that if there's one thing I can assure, if Pods has no fans left, I'm dead. Like, I love him so much. I'm gonna be campaigning hard for him in this month of August for the Pelicans to be trying to trade for him on Pelican Debrief because I love his game. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm personally always of the opinion that when you have a generational superstar, which Steph Curry is not just a generational superstar, he's one of the
The
superstars of
yeah,
all time.
yeah.
You just, I would always rather be aggressive while I have that guy in the building than, try to build some sort of mediocre future after him. Because let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. What are the Warriors going to do when Steph is gone?
Well, also like what another point to that is like, well, Steph's in the building. Well, Mike Dunleavy's in the building. Like this guy could they could end this. The Steph era is going to end, and they're probably going to scrap him and go with a new guy to give the franchise a new, fresh look. So
Yeah, like I don't understand when you have great players and when you have players as good as Steph Curry. This just kind of reminds me. This reminds me a little bit of like LeBron and the Lakers. Maybe not to the same capacity, but because it was a little bit different with Russell Westbrook and the whole debacle that was. But eventually, it just kind of felt like the Lakers stopped trying to give LeBron the kind of supporting cast he needed, despite the fact that, well, LeBron was still an elite player. Steph Curry at this point of his career, he's not, peak of his power Steph Curry anymore, but I'd still call him an elite player.
I would
Even
too. He's a top five, top three, top five guard in the league still. Like 26 points per game last year, 10 threes a game at a 38, 39% clip.
Yeah, I think you can still make the case for him as a top five guard. I maybe wouldn't give you, I wouldn't give you top three at this point. That being said, he's still this great. But the thing is, yeah, like he's older and he's gonna need more support at this point of his career. And if you're the Warriors, and I remember seeing a quote that I believe was from Tim Kawakami, one of the like big Warriors insiders. I hope I pronounced that name right. Talking about how the team owner is just as excited to build the team after Steph as he is to build the team with Steph, and I hate that mindset. You got your franchise goat in front of you. You got one of the 10 best players of all time in front of you. Even if he's not as great as he was in years like the unanimous MVP or his finals MVP, like run where he absolutely torched the Celtics in the finals. You give guys like that a chance to compete, and the fact that they've missed on so many and like of these stars to this point, the fact that you're not giving yourself a chance by trading for somebody like Jaylen Brown when you had the opportunity there, and the rationale behind that was reported is apparently like, oh well, they just didn't know if this was going to be the right player, for after Steph Curry's gone. What's the alternative that you're talking yourself out of
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown? What do
Yeah.
you have in? Do you think Pods is going to be a Jaylen Brown level player? Because hey, you can defend Pods all you want, but there's no shot that guy is going to be the same kind of pillar for your franchise that a guy like Jaylen Brown could be. So I just don't understand this mindset of just kicking the can down the road and just being like, yeah, we had a good run with Steph. We had 4 championships with Steph. Let's spread out the mediocrity and make sure we're a play-in team for the next 10 years instead of being a championship contender for the next, let's call it 2 to 3, and then taking about like 4 to 5, maybe not 4 to 5, maybe 3 to 4 bad years after that. It's just the price you pay when you have these kind of superstars. You go all in on their timeline, and then once that's done, yeah, you're going to have to accept that you're going to stink for a little bit. But hey, you could get a 5th championship out of the Curry era if you're going all in on Steph. So the mind-boggling approach of like, yeah, we've done what we could for Steph. Let's build the team after Steph. Nah, man, Steph's still here. Steph's still playing great basketball. Give him a team. His second best player right now is going to miss the majority of next season. What are we doing? What are we doing? I hate the approach. To answer your question, I hate the approach.
No, I fully agree. The thing is though, like if they were to trade him, I've seen Raptors fans be like, we could make it happen. No, the Raptors don't have the assets to get Steph Curry, and it's also because it's not just you're trading for Steph Curry at this level, because maybe the Raptors do have the assets to get a player of his caliber right now, but you're also trading for the legacy he holds with Golden State, and it would be so much harder for the Warriors to part with him for a non-ridiculous like Godfather offer because of what he's meant to the organization. But the team that could make it happen, and the team that like I would be okay with him spending the final 3-4 years of his career with, and I would just love to see, is the Charlotte Hornets. Like it's not even because Dell played there. It's just like
That
they
is
need a
not
point.
where I thought you were going with
Oh,
that.
dude, I love the idea of Steph Curry on the Hornets.
Could I give you an alternate that I think is much
Yeah.
nicer in my opinion?
Okay.
And quite frankly, sets up the Warriors probably pretty well as well. Give me the San Antonio Spurs
I
if
saw that
you
one
can
too. Yeah.
relocate.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
they
Yeah. Yeah.
have the assets to go get him. They can probably
The Hornets do too, though. They have like 12 first round picks over the next like 5 years.
they do, but I think the specifically the Spurs, depending on who you're willing to part with, you can give a exciting young prospect,
Yep.
and that becomes the question, right? Like, are you moving Dylan Harper or Steph
No,
Castle in that deal? Probably
no,
not. Like,
I would
you probably
refuse.
hold your ground on that you're not giving those guys up.
Yeah.
But if you can get De'Aaron Fox, if you can get picks, if you can maybe, hey, like if you gotta, you maybe toss in a Carter Bryant or something. Yeah, Steph Curry and Wemby as a combination is worth that type of risk.
It would probably be something like Christian Anderson, who I believe can be a borderline franchise guard with the right supporting cast, just a really elite shooter. They took him at, I believe, 19 in this last draft. You'd give them him, probably Hannes Steinbach, who was dominant in summer league play, Tijon Salon, and then yeah, it says they have how far this website I'm on goes till 2033 with draft picks, and it says they have 31 draft picks from now to 2031. So you just throw it all, and you could roll out and probably, I mean, depending on what happens and how like when a deal like this happen, which I don't ever think it would, but you probably throw in Kobe White, which gives them a good piece for the time being, and you're looking at a starting lineup of Steph, Brandon Miller, Khan, Naz Reid, and Musa Diabate. I think that team can give the Eastern Conference a run for its money, dude. Like I I think you have three guys who are going to give you 22 or more points per game next season. You have Naz Reid, who's just the perfect, and also Charles Lee's the biggest factor in it for me. Just such a 3-point heavy offense. I think it would be so cool, like so cool.
I think that would be a fun team, but I personally speaking, I don't think you'd be able to convince me on them being up there with the truly, truly elite teams of the
No.
conference.
What if they're making like 12 or like 15 threes a game as a team? Actually, they made like 17 a game last year. They make 20 threes a game, Svi, 60 points in three-pointers. Come on.
I just don't think like
Draymond's gonna join them. Come on.
how big of a leap are we talking in terms of what we're getting from Brandon Miller and Khan? That I
I
guess
think
that's my
Brandon
question.
Miller's the next Paul George. So
Yeah, I'm sure so does he.
yeah, he totally
Um, Man, agree to disagree on that one. I just don't think
Okay.
that team can break through past, a team like the Knicks, a team like the Sixers, and some of the second tier teams. I think they probably would maybe end up with like that second tier of teams in the Eastern Conference. Honestly, I don't even think that that team is better than the Raptors with Kawhi. So,
Hmm. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, well, another thing that's kind of trending in the NBA world, and we'll kind of use this. I think this is the only big time story that there really is to wrap things up with. Just kind of the OKC Nuggets saga that's been happening, where OKC decided to offer Spencer Jones a contract that if the Nuggets match, they'd be in the luxury tax, or sorry, way heavy into the second apron, not be able to really bring in Peyton Watson or bring Peyton Watson back without signing and trading him for literally nothing but draft picks. So where do you stand on this whole situation? Is Sam Presti still the greatest GM in all of pro sports? Like, what do you think with just how smart of a move that was by the Thunder?
yeah, well, Denver already had to feel pretty stuck with their situation this offseason, considering that they're expensive. They don't have a lot of draft assets. They have Nikola Jokic's contract extension coming up. All of this, like, they're a team that is just essentially going to be forced to run it back and just hope that they're healthier. But even at full health, are the Nuggets really good enough to beat some of the best teams in the
We
West?
saw last year they weren't.
Yeah. Granted, they weren't healthy. They
No,
weren't
they weren't
healthy.
healthy, but
Yeah.
just like the rest of the West is just better, flat
Yeah.
out.
So I think or the Spencer Jones offer sheet was a great move by the Thunder. You made you made the Nuggets situation worse, and quite frankly,
They made
now
them sweat.
you're looking at this roster, right? Like, are they are they better than the Spurs? I don't think so. Are they better than the Thunder? I don't think so. I don't even think they're better than a team like the Timberwolves or the Lakers right
Yeah, I
now.
agree. I think Houston too. I think Houston's the sleeping giant of the Western Conference. Like I have to look. I'm not like a better, but like I may throw money on them to win the West just based off of odds, but also based off the fact that I just think them having Fred Van Fleet, hiring Chip England, and also having Reed Shepherd, what I've seen, just how big he looks, like I think they're gonna come really hungry. And I liked a lot of the free agency, little like small moves they did around their roster.
Man, as long as Kevin Durant's on that team, they're not doing a damn thing.
Hey, chill on Slim Reaper, bro. Chill on the Slim Reaper. Call
Yeah,
of Duty's back, man.
he might actually post up in the comment section and actually talk
Yeah,
smack around here. So
yeah. Let's do
nah.
it. Yo, KD, you no.
Now I'll say KD, they're not winning with you, bro. Say something.
Oh my
Like genuinely say
God.
something.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to clip
Uh
that one for socials. Actually, just that literally that KD, they ain't winning you. That was that. Okay. What for me at least? Can we spin back to Peyton Watson real quick? Because like, dude, he's a Kevin Durant disciple. I like if I was the Nuggets GM, I would have traded like guys for second round picks just to bring him back and reset the roster because what I saw from him when Jokic went down from December 31st to the beginning of February, this kid was averaging 22 points per game, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and shooting 46% from three, and running an offense and keeping them above 500 in that time where Jokic was. Now, I put out a tweet recently where someone was asking what the value of Peyton Watson would be. The max, and like I wouldn't come in with this offer immediately. I'd be willing to give him $32 million dollars a season. Like I believe in him so much. Like I see all-star upside. I see like second option upside with Peyton Watson.
I that's a lot.
I
I
know it is. I know it is.
I believe according to Stein and Fisher, Watson's price that he wants right now is 25 annually. So
Yep.
if
I'd
that's what
freaking throw that at him. I would show up and I would like that scene in Breaking Bad where Huel Babino leans on the cash. Like I would be like, yo, Peyton, come to this storage locker and then just let him lay on the cash. We'd be like, we're gonna win championships together.
So if you're the Nuggets and you've got obviously the second apron predicament now,
Yeah.
are you searching for that capped up move? Because I kind of feel like you kind of have to at
You
this
have
point,
to.
right?
And I think Christian Brown, like I still don't think Christian Brown at his best, that contract looks as horrific as it does today. Like what the year he had prior, like they were projecting a little bit with the amount of money they gave him. I still think he can bounce back, but I would fully dump him or Aaron Gordon for second round or a protected first round pick just to have the
Really?
opportunity to bring back Peyton Watson.
Aaron Gordon
I would.
before Cameron Johnson?
Oh yeah, true. I forgot they had Cam Johnson too. Damn, they were doing. That was a tax ducking move too, though. They gave up like picks to get MPJ off to take on. Oh man, yeah. Their governor. I think it was their governor. Literally said like the luxury taxes could make us trade Nikola Jokic. Like, could you like?
Jokic,
They got their championship
2027,
though.
Laker. Call
Lakers.
it. Nah, yeah. Well, we'll revisit. No, there's no way the Lakers have that in their
No,
chamber.
no.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's a no-win scenario, I think, for Denver right now. I think whatever you end up doing, if you're the Nuggets, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Their best bet, and I don't know for sure if they have their pick next year, in my opinion, or in 2028, you could even prolong this till then. In my opinion, the best bet is to really sell, like even if that includes a Jamal Murray, and let Jokic know, like, dude, you're 31 years old. By the time you're 33, we will have a team that is comparable and is ascending back to where we need to be, because I just don't see it with this team. And I think the longer they continue to try to run back this core, the more injury prone guys like Aaron Gordon are going to get, the worse their value is going to get. And they're just going to put them in a spot where they're never going to be able to compete for a championship with Jokic again.
It's not that I think Jokic is a guy that could stay pretty elite like throughout
I
his
do too.
30s.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I do wonder, I mean, how long is Nikola Jokic going to want to stick around in the NBA? Because you could totally talk me into the fact that he's one of those guys that retires a little bit earlier than most at like a
For sure.
35 or something. So if you're talking about like 33-year-old Nikola Jokic, you get what, like 2 years of contention with him.
I
So
also think though, like a guy's always, the idea of retiring early always is a thing. And then those paychecks come in and you're like, why wouldn't I? Like, I'm going to play basketball. I don't know though. Like they're in probably like, I mean, honestly, I'm so much more optimistic about almost every team in the league. Like they may be in the worst position of any team in terms of like, sure, they have Jokic, but they can't do anything for him. And we're really going to run back this roster that was just like really just not it last year. And we didn't add to it at all. It's a really bad spot. We lost Valanciunas. We don't have a backup center. We're going to be counting on Trevon
Mar
Brazil, who's a
Marvin
really good.
Bagley?
Oh, Marvo. I forgot actually. I'm a Marvin Bagley guy. Like that was my guy coming in. I was a Duke fan growing up as a little child before I grew up and joined the Chomp Nation. Gators stay hot. Come on. No. Yeah, actually Marvin Bagley's a quality backup big, but who's he guarding? Like he couldn't. I don't believe he could guard me.
I mean, man, with all due respect to the fact that I don't think Jokic is anywhere near as bad as some people make him out to be, who's Jokic guarding?
I don't know,
It's not like
man.
they're really
Big
downgrading that
booty
much.
Rudy Gobert hung some on his head last time he saw him. So,
Yeah.
hey,
Hey, it speaks to the importance of Aaron Gordon to that team and to
oh,
why they need him as
incredible.
healthy. Right.
Incredible. He's the type of guy where like if you could give me a power forward with any with like the ideal power forward, especially with how good he is as a shooter now, like that's kind of what I want. A rebounder, a weak side rim protector, a guy who can make a play, can create for others if he needs to, like can make that extra pass and can shoot the three ball and score in the paint. Like, yeah, you're right. Aaron Gordon, prototypical four man in the modern NBA, is just like his body is just dead.
Yeah, that's really the big thing with him. You love him when he's on the court
Oh,
and when
oh,
he's at his best, but I would hope we still get a decent amount of
I
that,
hope so.
but
It's hard to envision.
it is. It is.
Okay, well, what isn't hard to envision is this episode wrapping up. So, yeah, folks, that was episode 3 of the Raptors Real Talk podcast. Like I mentioned at the beginning, Drop a comment. Let us know what you think. Give us some ideas for future episodes. If you got any ideas, throw them out there. Maybe we'll even sprinkle in a live stream one day. Maybe we'll do a little live stream. We'll let you guys come in, give your thoughts, and then bounce. But yeah, that's all we got for you today. Chris and Svi, we're out. We'll see you next week.